Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 11, and we're currently over here in the middle of Hermit Hills, ready to start recording another video. Now, before we even begin, I've got a few things I want to chat to you guys about, because in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, I briefly mentioned that I'd got myself a new kitten called Benji, and since then, I have been inundated with questions, people chatting to me about Benji, asking me things about him, and I thought I'd start things off today by answering some of those. So one of the main questions I kept getting was, is Benji friendly? Now, when we first got him, he was really nervous. I felt quite sorry for him, because obviously we'd removed him from his home and his family, and we dropped him in a new home without a family. Okay, that's going to cause problems. So for the first few days, he hid under the sofa quite a bit, which I completely understand. If that had happened to me, I'd probably hide under the sofa as well. But since then, he really has come out of his shell. He started getting a lot more confident. He stomps about the house now. He comes up to you wanting stroking. He wants playing. He's quite a little attention seeker, but he really is very, very lovely and very, very sweet. And if you haven't seen Benji, of course, down in the description there are links to my Twitter and Instagram. I'm sure by this point in time there are hundreds of pictures of Benji all over both of those, so you can check those out down there. The next thing that I want to say is that today I am having a little bit of a rough one, okay? I woke up this morning and I've got a massive mouth ulcer on the inside of my mouth that is currently rubbing up against my teeth, and it is a little bit painful. So if I sound a little bit different, that is probably the mouth ulcer rubbing up against my teeth, causing a little bit of pain, but because I'm a hard-working YouTuber, I thought I would push on through the pain, work on through it, and try and get myself some Hermitcraft content. So today, we're going to start things off by doing a mining challenge. You guys know the drill. Let me know how many points you think I'm going to get, and I'm going to get down to business. I don't think there is anything more satisfying in Minecraft than travelling through a giant block of your own hand-mined resources with a Fortune 3 pickaxe. Just seeing all the items everywhere. So brilliant. Alright, this crazy block lag that I'm getting is probably making it a little bit less satisfying, but I'm going to push on. Okay, so from that mining session, I managed to get a whopping 2,481 points. Now that is probably one of my best mining sessions for a very long time. As you can see from my inventory, I got quite a lot of resources. We got just under 2 stacks of lapis, we got half a stack of diamonds, we got loads and loads of redstone, quite a lot of coal, and also tons of iron, which is really very helpful. So let's add that to all of our supplies. I'm looking in the wrong droppers. This is the one that I wanted. Right, let's chuck all of the diamonds in. That's quite an impressive supply. We'll need to turn all of this into blocks, and we'll need to turn all of these into blocks, and probably all of this into blocks as well. But that was a good one. So in today's episode, we're going to be doing a few little redstone odd jobs. We're going to be heading back to old systems that we have built in previous episodes, and we're going to be doing a little bit of improvement. Number one is because we've got more resources now, we can afford to spend more on each project, so I'm going to come back to them and add a few extra features that perhaps couldn't have done in the previous episodes, but also it's always good to come back to your old redstone circuits and get down to business and make them a little bit better. So first things first. For this one, we are going to be doing an input circuit for our hidden staircase, because as you can see, we were just down in the redstone laboratory down there, and if we are using the redstone laboratory, the staircase remains open. Now that is not particularly smart, is it? If you think about it, if you're using your redstone laboratory, you're doing all your secret evil stuff, the last thing that you want is for your front door to be open, okay? So we're going to be building a little input circuit down here using a pressure plate. Now I will say that I have mined out the entire area. That goes right the way up to the T flip-flop that we have at the top. So this should just be a very simple case of placing down the redstone all the way up there. We're probably going to need a few repeaters because it's quite a long and windy path that this redstone takes. So let's run it up like this, going all the way up these blocks, and then we're going to go off to the left right here, and we'll run it back around like that. And we're going to be running that straight into this monostable circuit. I'd say we probably need a repeater by now because we have traveled quite a long way on the same redstone pulse. So let's go redstone dust in here, and there is the monostable circuit, I do believe. Let's give that a check. Yes, okay, yes it is. So that is the monostable circuit that runs into our T flip-flop. So that is necessary, that's essential for this build. So let's head down to the bottom and we'll see if all of this works. We'll head over to our pressure plate. We'll place down a block here so that we can actually get onto it. Oh no, it doesn't look like I can. Right, we'll place this block here and this block right here. Walk on the pressure plate and we should see that our staircase closes up and then it opens up as well. Alright, so we have got a little system that is now closing this hidden staircase from the inside, and it also allows us to leave the laboratory nice and safe. That's perfect. False just asked me to kill her, so I suppose I probably should. Oh, wow, okay, we've got player skulls. Oh, that is so cool. Now I feel like I should die as well. Oh, I really want one of them. Is it worth sacrificing my 0 deaths, though? Oh, that is so cool. So there's another little job that needs doing on the hidden staircase system, and that is, of course, just a little bit of interior decorating. As you can see, this place is not particularly pretty. I just stripped out all of the blocks that are on all the walls because they weren't very nice either, and I have got a little blank canvas to start building on. I'm not going to do anything particularly groundbreaking. It is probably just going to be the stone half slabs and the andesite as well. Basically, I want to make it so that it matches up with this room that we have over here, our little redstone laboratory that we've got going on. I just want a nice little run up into that area so that we can have it nice and clean without all of those messy blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start chucking down all of the blocks. I'm probably going to do this tiny little bit off camera, so I'll catch you guys in a little bit. So that is all done. It took around about 2 minutes, which might seem quite a long time to place probably around about 15 blocks, but it turns out I ran out of birchwood, so I had to go and grab some of that stuff. But this is the little walkway that we've managed to create. It's not going to win any awards in terms of design. It's not the most groundbreaking thing in the world, but it definitely does the job. It suits the style of the area that we have in here, and I would say that it looks okay. It's alright. It will do the job, and I'm perfectly happy with it. So now it is time to close all of that away. We'll place down our little redstone torch. We will shut our hidden staircase system, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to store a few redstone torches on the inside of this chest, just so I can easily get down into the system without having to worry about picking up a redstone torch before I go, because that was a little bit annoying having to do all of that. But anyway, now we've got another plan. We need to do a little bit of exterior work on the Redstone Consultancy. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some carpets on top of all of these pumpkins so that they don't stand out as much, because that's one comment that I really did like. Another thing that we need to do is run the path up to the Redstone Consultancy, and I think I'm going to get a little bit more vegetation around here. Trees, plants, and all that good stuff. I think it will really help out. It has been a while, my old friend. I'm not going to be using you particularly often in this series. I just need to use you for the path, but boy oh boy, is it tempting to start building. So some stuff has been going on around the Redstone Consultancy. First off, we've got the path running up into the doorway, and then we have some fashion bushes. Yeah, we got some fashion bushes going on. I finally started putting bushes down. I haven't used any bushes so far in the Hermitcraft Series 3 series. So episode 11, that's quite impressive. I used bushes, I think, in the first episode of Season 2, so been missing out on these little fellas. We also have a few new signs, and we got a massive tree. Now, I don't think I'm going to be keeping that because it is far too big. I mean, look at this thing. It looks a little bit silly, doesn't it? Or is it just on the verge of being okay? Perhaps if we take out all of these leaves here, because they're a little bit silly. We'll take out all of these leaves here. I've got myself some shears, of course, so that's good. That means that we can take out leaves really quickly. And we'll take out this branch here. Does that look a little bit better? No, I think it still looks a little bit silly, doesn't it? It's too big. It's too big for this little area. It's almost the height of the pumpkin and melon farms, and it's definitely taller than the Redstone Consultancy. I don't think we can be having that. So I'm going to take this one down, and I'll keep placing down the trees and all of the bone meal, and I'll keep adding the growth around this area, because I'd say it's already making an improvement, but I think we need a little bit more of it, and less of this. After not one, but two absolutely massive trees, I've finally managed to get a regular sized oak tree to put at the front of the Redstone Consultancy, and straight away it has made a huge difference. I really like the way that this looks. I'm amazed at how much of a big difference it's made. I don't know, maybe that's just because I'm odd, but I would say it looks 10 times better than it already did. I think it's because, as I mentioned in the episode in which I built this thing, it did look like a bit of a white elephant on the landscape. It was just a big white block in front of all of this greenery, but now we've started to add in some greenery in front and around the big white elephant. It actually looks okay. So if you head up to it, you can see I've also done some extra details. I've got the carpets on top of all of the pumpkins now, so you can't see those. They are not so standouty, which I much prefer. And also I've done a tiny bit of inside work on the inside of the Redstone Consultancy. Once again, I have changed up the lighting. Now I am not 100% sure on how I feel about this, okay? These white carpets, I don't know if they work for me. I honestly don't know if they quite work for me. So let me know what you think to that down in the comment section. I'd like to hear your opinions on this, because a lot of people were complaining about how the lights looked in the ceiling. I personally didn't particularly like them either, so I'm glad that I've changed it, but I don't know if that is the 100% solution. So like I say, let me know what you think to that down in the comment section. Next job on my long list of jobs, we're going to be doing a little enchanting system on the inside of the hot air balloon. Now I have just come to the attention that I'm probably not going to use the area up at the top there. That's just because, I mean, there really is no point to it. It slopes down a little bit and it's just going to be tough to use constructively. I do have my bed up here, but that can be moved at some point. Essentially what I thought I'd do is I'd set up a little redstone system up here that allows me to select the level of enchanting using pistons and levers, redstone torches, all that sort of thing. You get the drill, you know what I'm all about. I love doing redstone and I love using redstone at every possible opportunity, and this is a pretty good example of that. So what I'm going to be doing is the enchanting table is going to be going where that block is right there. So that is going to be where the enchanting table goes, and then all of the books are going to go around like this, and we can retract them very simply using levers on the bottom of these blocks. It should all work perfectly. It does in my head. We'll see how it goes in the game. Why is it that when I'm looking for lava or obsidian, I can't find it anywhere, but when I'm out caving, all I do is hit into lava and obsidian? It's so annoying. Alright, so all of the pistons and all of the books are now in place in the system. As you can see, our enchanting table currently does not have any of the particles flying into it, which means that this is the lowest level enchantment. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, the way that this is going to work is we're going to be down at the bottom here. We'll never go up to the top, and we will have levers going all the way around like this. One thing that I have just thought, though, is can I actually reach the enchanting table from down here? It does look like I can. Perfectly fine. I don't even need to jump, so that is absolutely fine by me. This looks like it is going to be a very functional system indeed. So this is where all of the levers are going to be going. They're going to be going across like this, and across like this. They're going to be facing downwards. They're not going to be the prettiest thing in the world, but it is function over fashion, ladies and gentlemen. I switched those two words around because that's what I like. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to hook those up using redstone torches on the back of these blocks here, and it should all work like a charm. It should use minimal redstone, and we should be able to get it done relatively quickly. Say hello to my new roof. I am very happy with this system. It has worked 10 times better than expected. As you can see, that is the current enchanting table, and if we were to put an item in here, none of the books would be touching it, and thus it would not have any extra levels. But if we flick some of these levers, you will see that these books pop out, and we will begin to get the particles going towards the enchanting table, which means that we get slightly higher level enchantments. And if we just go around like this, you will see that all of the bookshelves pop out, and gradually as we make our way around, we will get to max bookshelves, and that means that we can get all of those max levels enchantments. Now all of this works absolutely perfectly with very little redstone. I'll take you up to see it in a second, but first off, what do you think to the roof design? I actually really quite like it. It is a little bit busy. There's plenty of stuff going on. Of course there is, because there's loads of levers going around. We've got the bookshelves, we've got all the particles. I thought I'd chuck some redstone lamps in there for good measure, but I would say it looks pretty decent, especially when it's retracted. I think it looks much better like that. But anyway, if we head up to the top now, I'll try and do my best to show you the redstone. pretty much all of it is activated by redstone torches that are on the sides of the blocks with the levers on. The only slightly tough part, and it was very, very easy to do, but it's a little bit tougher than the rest, was hooking up these pistons on the side here using the redstone that goes around like this. So it comes off the side of this torch and goes up like that. That means that 4 of all of our levers, 4 of them activate 2 pistons at once, and those are those corner pistons right there. But all in all, it was a very easy project. It took around about 20 minutes in total, which isn't too bad for redstone projects, and I'd say I've done a pretty decent job, if I don't mind saying so myself. The next little plan from our endless list of plans, we have to do a little storage system for all of the sugarcane. Now, as you can see, some hermits have been along, they picked up sugarcane. I myself picked up a bunch of sugarcane earlier to do all of the books, but this chest, it fills up ridiculously quickly, okay? We get tons upon tons of sugarcane all of the time. It's always filling up and always overflowing, backing up through the hopper and all that sort of thing. So what I thought I'd do is I will set up a little system that allows us to get backup storage. Now, it's really quite cool, and I've developed a design for it that I'll show you in a second in a redstone testing world, but essentially the idea is that the items will remain in this chest, but then underneath this chest, there'll actually be a bunch more chests with tons of sugarcane that is backed up from previous overflows, if you get what I mean. I'll try and do a better explanation when we take a look at it. So what I want you to do is imagine that this chest here is filled up with sugarcane. I filled it up with leaves just because that's my little test object. But into that chest we've got the hopper. You can just imagine the sugarcane running along the water stream, down into the hopper, and into the chest. Now, as you can see, this chest is almost full. It is very, very close to being completely full. But if we chuck in an item, it goes down, it goes into the hopper, but we still have 63 items in the first spot, and then the rest of them is completely filled up. And that is because that item has actually traveled down and into this bottom chest down here. So as you can see, we've got 9 items in there. If we go up to the top and chuck an item in, you will see it goes down through all the hoppers, and voila, we have ourselves 10 items. So it really is very cool. So that is the chest that is going to be up on the surface, and all of these chests are going to be down underneath. Now, the way that it works is it uses some comparator trickery that is a little bit complicated, a little bit tough to understand, but I'll try and do my best to explain it. So we have a comparator running out from the chest. That gives a signal strength output depending on how many items are in the chest. When the chest is fully filled up, it gives a stronger signal. So we have these 2 comparators here. We have a comparator running into the side of that comparator, and what they'll do is they will compare signal strength. So we have a strong signal strength coming from this dropper right here because that filled up. But when we get a full chest, this redstone will actually be stronger than this signal strength, which means they'll compare and they'll be like, hey, this one's stronger, so it will give a redstone output. It will turn off this torch, this hopper will activate, the one item will drop through, and that means that the system will reset because obviously this strength will now be less, and thus it won't give an output. I hope that made some sense. That was a little bit tough to understand, and if you want me to do a tutorial on this, of course, I'll be happy to do it. One problem that I can already spot, and oh boy, is it a big one, is the fact that we have got some water right here. Now, it hasn't caused a problem yet. I don't know if it is going to cause a problem in the future, but everyone knows that water and redstone do not mix, and I can already see it coming. Me building, finishing my circuit, and then suddenly water just ruins all of that. But one thing that I do just quickly want to point out, completely off topic, is the fact that I'm actually going to be able to do this completely hidden away because I can take a comparator output through that block right there. So as you can see right here, we have got this block, we have got the chest, it's completely hidden, but there we go, we have got ourselves comparator signal. Comparators are great, they seriously are brilliant. So some of the finishing touches are now going in place. We have got all of the items in the dropper. This is like the final check, just to make sure that everything is okay. And I thought I'd run you through it with me. So we have these 2 comparators here. That has shut off the signal, which is definitely a good sign. I did have to do a little bit of adaptation in terms of the design, simply because we had a few differences. First off, of course, we had the water. That's something that I hadn't thought of, and we've had to work around that a little bit. But also, most importantly, the hopper position. If we take a look up at the top, the hopper actually runs into the side of this chest. I hope you can see that. There's a hopper there, and it runs into the side of the chest, whereas the one that I had in the testing world had a hopper on top of it. I don't know why I thought it was like that, but I didn't bother to check, and thus I designed it around that principle, and it turns out I hopped onto Hermitcraft, and it was slightly different. So I had to do a little bit of recircuiting, had to do a little bit of redesigning, which you can see going on here. So we have this redstone torch here, then powers a redstone line that runs into the side of that hopper, and it has a half slab so that it doesn't power this hopper down at the bottom. It's a little bit strange, but it seems to be working, which is definitely a positive sign. So let's hop back up to here, and I think I have some items in my inventory. No, okay, so we've got all of the items inside that chest right there, so that should be good to go. Let's chuck back in all of these half slabs. Let's replace that compressed ice there, because otherwise we're going to be losing all of the sugarcane. We're going to be wondering what's going on. So that's all done. We need these blocks back in here, so that's complete. And finally, we need to chuck back in all of the dirt. And there we go. You wouldn't even know it's there. That is crazy. I've never really had a project that has hidden it away itself so well, because that is just perfect. That has worked out absolutely like a charm, and it looks like it is all functioning fine. So when this chest fills up, when this chest reaches that point there, it will remove one item from the chest and drop it down into the backup storage unit, which means that we now have a much bigger supply of sugarcane, but you wouldn't be able to know it from on the surface. I really like this invention. I might end up doing a tutorial on it, simply because I can see a lot of good uses for that, and I'm sure you'll love it too. So there we have it, guys. Those are all of the jobs that I had planned for today's episode. I think I'm going to do that little storage system on the pumpkin and melon farm, so I'll do that in a future episode because it seems to work really well. I don't know why I've never thought of it before, but I feel like we've got a decent amount of stuff done today. We've done a few odd jobs, a few little redstone projects, a bunch of systems design. It's been a lot of fun for me to record, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. But if you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.